Alright, this is Brother Ward, and I'm going to be talking about a couple of problems here. So let's see. Nice surface a little bigger to write on. Alright, so wanted to start with number 2. So on number 2, it says the area of a window is 192 inches squared. The width of the window is 4 inches more than half the length of the window. What are the dimensions? So since they're saying length and width, I think it's safe to assume that we're talking about the width is 4 inches more than half the length. So if this is the length, then the width is 4 inches more than half the length. So we can write that. And then we know one other piece of information that will help us here. We know that the area is 192 square inches. And we also know that area of a rectangle is length times width. So length times the width, and instead of using W for width, let's use 1/2 L plus 4. And that is equal to 192. So this is the equation we're going to solve. And let's go ahead and start by using the distributive property. So that gives us L times 1/2 L is 1/2 L squared. And then L times, and that's equal to 192. And let's subtract 192 from each side of this equation. So now we have 1/2 L squared plus 4L minus 192 equals 0. Alright, so our goal at this point is to factor this, but before we do that, this 1/2 right here is kind of, I'd rather that it wasn't there. It'll be easier to do the factoring if it's not. So let's multiply each side of this equation by 2. On there we'll have just 0. We're going to and we'll have 2 times 1/2 L squared is L squared. 2 times 4L is 8L. And 2 times 192 is 384. So now we're going to try to factor this, and we're looking for two things that apply together to be negative 384 and add together to be positive 8. Okay, so it took me a few tries to get this, but and so you wouldn't necessarily expect to right away, but after some searching, I figured out that 24 and negative 16 will work. 24 times negative 16 is negative 384, and 24 plus negative 16 is 8. So we got the 8 that we want there. When you add them, we have the negative 384 that we want to get when we multiply them. So the next step is to rewrite the 8L as 24L minus 6. And then we're going to factor by grouping. The first two terms have the second two terms have a common factor of negative 6. That leaves 24 because negative 16 times 24 negative 384. And they have this in common, L plus 24. So the final step of factoring is to write L plus 24 first, and what's left over, which is L minus 16 second. And remember, it's still set equal to 0. And at this point we use the zero product property and we solve the two equations. L plus 24 equals 0 and L minus 16 equals 0. this one has a solution of negative 24. We'll talk about that in a second. This one has a solution of positive 16. So remember that we're finding a length, and lengths can't be negative. So even though negative 24 does make the equation true, it doesn't make sense in the context of the problem. So we're going to eliminate that one. 16 does make sense. And so we know that our rectangle has a length of 16 and a width of 1/2 times 16 plus 4, which is 8 plus 4, which is 12. So our rectangle is 16 inches long and 12 inches wide. All right, hopefully that helps.